concept of nationalism is as old as humanity. We just never needed to call it by name until now. Tribalism is the root of nationalism. Humans have always been and always will be tribal, and nothing will change that. You may think you're above it, but you're not. The planet has been organized this way for thousands of years. It is how nature created us. A nation is made up of a particular tribe of people united by common ancestry, culture, and language, inhabiting a territory that is all theirs for their people to thrive and be them. They share a collective identity primarily rooted in ancestry. It's what binds them together. It isn't rooted in artificial abstract ideas on a piece of paper. It is rooted in your genetic makeup. And from these genes come the various physical and cultural expressions of humanity. And these expressions make up the world's diversity in all its forms. Our differences represent millions of years in the making. Most of us take that for granted. From tribalism came the idea of a nation-state with a legal framework. They had ruling councils, boundaries, and fought to protect their territory. Borders, a common language, culture, religion, and ancestry is the foundation of nationalism. Homogeneous nations make up the nations of the world. It's how we have countries today that are made up by a specific ethnicity, a tribe. Sweden, Japan, India, Sudan. Nationalists oppose open borders and mass migration for the simple reason that if their land is overtaken by people who are not them, it ceases to be their nation, ceases to be a place for them to thrive in their unique way. Just ask American Indians. Nationalism exists all around the world, but globalists seek to destroy sovereign nations, seek to make us all the same. But the harder they try, the stronger nationalism grows in opposition to it, because that is human nature. Although some tribes of old fought to expand territory, most tribes were fighting to protect their territory. Today, most of the world is already spoken for. Nationalists are anti-war and anti-interventionist, against the subjugation of foreigners minding their own business on their own land. We stand against the invasion of foreign nations to bring them our liberal values. These are globalist ideals, not nationalist. In fact, the most peaceful countries in the world are homogenous. The most violent are multicultural. It means having clear borders and laws to protect the demographics of a nation, to ensure their interests come first. It doesn't mean you won't have a few minorities living in your country, or that you won't have friends of another nation, or that you can't travel or trade with foreigners. You can trade without mass migration. You can be friends without overwhelming a country demographically, but the needs of the people who make up that nation and what is best for them is the number one concern. Nationalists' first concern today are borders and demographics. All other things can be sorted out afterwards. All other things come second. Nationalism stands in the way of globalists who seek world domination in every corner of the earth. This requires the total destruction of ancient homogeneous peoples and the implementation of a new, rootless global culture. It requires forgetting where you come from and who your ancestors were. Their goal is one race, one language, one culture that is easy to control. It is anti-diversity. Having no connection to your ancestors means no direction or meaningful purpose for the future. Nationalism provides a connection to the past and a deep meaning for the future. We understand that globalist values are fake and not based in reality. A nation is your extended family, whether you like it or not. And sometimes we fight, but we always remember that family comes first. We are the same. No one else is like us. We understand that other nations, other families have different goals, different traits, and their own path to walk. Nationalism isn't just about race either. Europe isn't only white or European, but is made up of 50 different nations with their own language, culture, and history. Poles and Swedes, they are different. The same can be said about Asians and Africans. Nationalism isn't about oppressing and hurting others who aren't like you. That's globalism. The entire point of nationalism is to be surrounded by people who are like you in the deepest sense. When one people are the entire makeup of a country, no one worries about things like racism and hate crimes. There is peace through amicable separation. It means you see and respect differences and understand that everyone isn't the same. Love for your own does not mean hate for others. It just means you know you're different and you know what you prefer, and that's okay. After all, it is true diversity, and as the saying goes, good fences make good neighbors.